Alright, boys, season 2 of MK1 is here. So, an Omni Man dropped, so I decided I'll just make a tier list. I'm gonna go over it pretty fast, because, not much has changed. Really, there have been like 2 patches, but they haven't really changed anything. So, I feel pretty comfortable making the tier list now, because unfortunately, I don't think they're gonna do patch notes anytime soon. Which sucks. Like, hopefully they'll do it when Tremor drops, but we don't know yet when it drops. We know it's around the end of November, so I'm just gonna make one now. It's not gonna take me a while, like 20 minutes tops most likely, because just I've done that already, so it's not that much of an issue. So let's just scramble this, I suppose. Move all the DLC characters down. Yeah, and Omni Man is out, so we can rank Omni Man now. Sure. Alright, Shang Tsung. I think he's decent. Shang isn't bad. He's a pretty good zoner, but Shang really doesn't have much mix-ups. And just zoning in general in this game, well, it's powerful. There are ways to handle it. Like this guy, unlike Reiko, if you just switch to Sub-Zero, like the Sub-Zero cameo with the sub armor, he really can struggle to zone because at best he can only fire like 3 or 4 projectiles, and the armor only break like after 4. I'm pretty sure. So he can struggle a lot, and just from close range, it's really not that much of a threat. Like it's framed as decent at best. He doesn't really have much mix-up, so it's not that tough to deal with. But I haven't seen a single good Shang Tsung player really. I haven't seen anybody really good with this character because I feel like the transformation into other characters could actually be a big value of this guy, but I haven't seen anybody utilizing it yet because it's really tough to actually play with all characters in the roster good in this game. Next up, we have Smoke. I'm gonna say he's here pretty good. Smoke is powerful, very powerful. Really annoying to deal with in lag online, but he is very good. He has very good mix-ups. His invisibility shenanigans are extremely annoying. He has one of the best armors in the game because the smoke bomb armor, like if you don't armor through anything as the smoke, like you just become invisible and appear behind them, and then they pretty much are getting hit for sure because it's borderline impossible to block him when he's invisible. And if you do armor through something, it just does the normal smoke bomb, where it just stabs you in the face. So there's really no risk tied to this thing. You can just launch it as much as you want. And even if the player against you makes a read, they need to make 2 reads. They need to make a read you're gonna armor, and they need to unblock the jumping attack after you go invisible. So this shit is really annoying. So yeah, pair that up with extremely busted damage output for this guy. Like his damage is way too good considering what he's doing, in my opinion. I don't feel like this character is busted or anything, but just his damage is so high, it's actually crazy sometimes. But regardless, Lee May, she's kinda ass. I don't feel like she doesn't bring much to the table. She's pretty mid all around, so I'm just gonna put her in kinda ass. I feel like Shang Tsung is better than her, but not by that much. She's decent. Even when I face good Lee Mays, like they really struggle because this character really can't open you up. She only has lows, she has 0 overheads that actually matter. She's not that good of a zoner. The only great thing about this character is a very high damage output, but even that and the combos she has are actually pretty difficult to actually do. They're not anything too hard, but they're not very easy either. Next up we have Baraka. Shocks me to say this, but I don't think he's even pretty good at this point. I'm gonna put him in decent. Dizzy over Shang, I'm not sure. You can interchange them if you want. I'm not gonna go out of my way to order them perfectly, but I'm gonna try who I can. I'm gonna put him actually below Shang. I feel like Baraka really took a massive hit. You can actually even put him here. Really, I've seen Sonic Fox put them like in bottom 5, and I understand that Baraka he lost pretty much all of the value he had on block because of Cyrax getting nerfed, and his damage output is actually not good either now. Like the damage he's doing is pretty bad. It's not even good. Like the damage is bad, believe it or not. Like he's doing mediocre damage. So yeah, this character really took a massive hit in all aspects of the game. He really struggles now. He has no mix-ups anyway, because you only need to block low against this guy. He has an overhead, but it's so slow. It's reactable, so you don't really need to be that wary of it. Like if you're decent in blocking, you're blocking a 28 frame overhead. It's not that hard to do. And unlike Rain, who has a 28 frame overhead, Baraka's is just a plain overhead. Like it has nothing special tied to it. So yeah, damage is not there. Block pressure is not there. The character is just not that good right now. Omni Man. Where do I put you? I don't think he's top tier. Unfortunately, I don't. Like I feel like the biggest issue of this guy is no mix-ups. His mix-ups really aren't there. And the biggest problem of this guy is actually not even mix-ups. The biggest problem of this guy is easily the fact that he just struggles so badly because of the stance. The stance of it is actually very powerful, of course, but the biggest problem is everything he has is unsafe. Omni Man is actually maybe the only character in the roster that doesn't have a single special move that is safe on block. And that's very annoying. That is extremely annoying for the Omni Man player because you really need to just rely on cameos all the time to actually save your ass on block with a summon cameo. And the other problem is if you want to save yourself after a special move where you can't input a summon cameo, you need a certain ambush like Kano or Striker, something like that, or maybe Kung Lao cameo and teleport. All of these don't really synergize well. Kung Lao cameo is an option, but you don't really want to use anything other than the hat. The hat is so busted, you really want to just keep all of your cameo charges for the hat. Never use anything else. So he really needs to rely on like other ambushes, like let's say Kano or Striker, and he's not very good with these two. So yeah, this guy can really struggle when it comes to just you need to really make a read, and it's very high risk to actually throw a special move with this guy. But still, he has insanely high damage. Like his optimals are doing 43% meterless anywhere on screen. He's doing a shit ton of damage. He's actually something that annoys me about this guy. The Superman tech actually doesn't work in the corner from my experience. Like I've tried it for hours, I can't make it work. So he actually gets more damage in mid-screen than he gets in the corner, unless you spend cameos, of course. But by himself in mid-screen, he's getting more in the mid-screen than he's getting in the corner, which is just a design flaw for me. But still, he's a very good character. I'm basically maining him right now, but I might just gravitate back to Rain, but I'm still having a lot of fun with this guy. He's really cool, but I don't think he's that good. Do I put him over Smoke? No. I feel like Smoke is a better character than him. Omni Man is pretty solid, like he's around the top tier level, close to that, but he's not there yet. I don't think he's there. Next up we have Tanya. She's pretty good. She's pretty good, really. She has the same shenanigans as Kung Lao with the armor into Goro, so you can't really punish her armor, which is annoying. So she never blocks. Like Tanya is a character that doesn't block at all, but her damage is really lacking. Like the damage output this character has isn't very good. And you don't really see her at all, so it's really hard to evaluate her, to be honest, because I'm evaluating her based on my own experience using the character. She is good. I don't think she's bad. She has a low starter. She has the teleport. She has insanely good range. So she has a lot of tools that she is doing very well. She doesn't really have much weaknesses, but you don't see any Tanyas in this game. Not online, not in tournaments, anywhere. So it's really hard to evaluate this character. But she's still pretty good. Where do I put her? Personally, I will put Omni Man above her and Smoke above her too because I fight these two much more and I see them much more in tournaments. So it's much easier to evaluate them than her. But she might be better than them. Maybe she is. I don't know. Right now I'm putting them over her. Next up we have Giras. Giras is top tier for sure. Giras is very, very good. He has a self breaker, which is insanely busted. Like he can just use a breaker on himself, which is absolutely crazy. What else can you say about this character? Yeah, the breaker on himself. He has very good damage, like 40% anywhere on screen 1 bar, which is very good. In the corner, he's getting even 42. Yeah, just another thing to mention, like, understand how good Omni Man's damage is. Like, 42% meterless in this game is actually probably the highest damage in the entire game. I don't think there's a character that does more meterless. Like, not even Liu Kang. And Liu Kang does a busted amount of damage. Not even Liu Kang does this much damage, meterless. So yeah, this is insane amounts of damage Omni Man is doing. Even by himself, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. But regardless with Omni Man, Giras, the hourglasses are just very good. Like you can't really zone this guy once he has them charged. They're pretty easy to charge. Of course, a self breaker. The damage output again is great. He's decent on the mix because of the Kung Lao cameo. Like he only has a low and an overhead, and the overhead is slow and punishable, but you can just set up the hat, and then you can really keep yourself safe. The mix-up is not the good part of this character, but just he can really have a lot of sustain. Like you have the breaker that heals you, the self breaker that takes 1 bar with the 3 hourglasses. That shit is actually wild, man. It's very, very hard to actually whittle this character down. Like at all times, if the Giras is playing smartly and just keeping his distance and summoning glow hats and just charging the hourglasses, Giras can just all the time have breaker. So it's very hard to actually hit this character. And when he hits you, he does a lot of damage. So this character is amazing, a lot of fun, and really, really good. So he's top tier. He's not number 1, of course, and just the other top tiers are not here yet. Next up, we have the bitch. Nobody likes this character, but she's busted. Ashra, she's better than Giras for sure. Ashra for me is like top 3 or even top 2. I hate this character. I really do. I despise this character. She's one of the most annoying characters in the game, if not straight up the most annoying. She's completely brain dead and extremely busted. Like she has probably the best damage in the game, the best practical one. Omni Man's combos, while they are not that hard, they have some sort of skill tied to them, like the optimals. At least from the BNB, the optimals, the ones that do the most damage with the Superman, the raw Superman in the game, they do a lot of damage, but they are actually hard to do. Ashra is doing 5 hits and she's getting 42%. Like Ashra is just ridiculous. The damage is way too high for this character. She has some of the best range in the game. She's a turtle in God. She can just sit back and don't approach you at all, and she can still win the game very easily. Just pair up with Sarina or Kung Lao, and really, it's very hard to deal with this character. She's safe on basically everything. Her damage is busted. She has probably the best projectile in the entire game. That is just plus and block for no fucking reason and covers the entire damn screen. She's extremely boring. I really hate this character. She's very common because of how busted she is. So yeah, she's definitely top tier. I hate her. Scorpion is ass. Probably the worst character in the game. Either him or Sub-Zero. Both of them are pretty shit. Yeah, Scorpion, there's not really much to say. He's pretty much terrible at everything. His damage is decent, but the problem is, to actually get the decent damage, you need to get his launcher as a starter of a combo. And it's impossible to do. This guy, his damage isn't even that good because you always start your combos with a raw spear. So if you want to do meterless combos, the best you're getting is like, how much? 35? Maybe. Maybe 40 if you spend 2 cameos, like with a Hellfire into teleports and shit like that. And because Cyrax's nerf is even worse now, so yeah, this guy is terrible. You pretty much need to just rely on running away and throwing anti-airs. That's the best way you can play this guy because it just doesn't do anything else well. So yeah, he's not good. He needs buffs. Kitana. I've actually seen people put her like in S tier and shit like that. I can't agree with that at all. Like, I've seen Sonic Fox put her in like S tier. I'm pretty sure Sonic put her. I don't remember if it was Sonic Fox or Diff. Regardless, I've seen some people saying this character's top tier. I heavily disagree on that. Like, I have to disagree on that. Like, just from my experience, even watching pros, this character has one massive issue. She is terrible at actually getting a hit in. She has zero viability on block. The only thing you can do with this character is like backdash into back two and hope you can catch them trying to poke or pressing a button. Like, this character's mix-up is non-existent. Sorry. I'm pretty sure she has no overheads in her kit, like at all. Zero. Which is just having zero overheads at all. Like no overheads at all. Not even as a final hit of a string like Scorpion has with his 1-1-1. 1-2-2, sorry. Where he has an overhead that just knocks you down at the end. She doesn't even have that. She only has lows. And the other problem with this character, just like Omni Man, she has zero special moves that are actually safe on block. So you really need to commit to like trading. Pretty much. You need to use the EX fans or the EX other fan. Like she throws it and it does like rainbow and it will launch you if it hits you. That move. She needs to do this on block to actually just keep herself safe. Like, so you need to spend bar to stay safe on block, which is annoying. Her range and hitboxes aren't very good either. Like they're pretty damn bad. Damage output is decent. It's not that crazy. It's decent, but really to actually get good damage with this character, you need to be either in the corner or use Sub-Zero mid-screen. And this character could really use help outside of just combos. Because her mix-up really is non-existent. Getting a hit with her is actually very tough. She has some nice setups in the corner, grab setups with the wind bomb, but it's not good enough, the wind bomb, and I don't feel like she's that good of a character, so I don't think she's terrible. You can make her work, but she's not very good. She's decent at best. She doesn't really do anything spectacular, so I'm just gonna put Shang over her, because Shang at the very least is a very good zoner. So that's something. And next up, we have the best character in the game. It's not even up for discussion. Like, he's just completely busted. I don't think it's even a discussion. He's not in his own tier. He's not there, but he is just beyond broken, like this character. They reduced his HP by 50 and they said it would be enough to stop him. No, to stop him you need to make something of his kit, not +5. Everything he's doing is ridiculously plus, and he has a 9 frame mid. You can't attack this character. He can easily get in with Kung Lao cameo, and once he actually got in, there's no dealing with him. You basically have to block forever, or take your bet with an armor. There's no other way to beat this character. And then you have grabs that they throw in and shit like that, and then just... You understand, this character is pretty much unbeatable, man. It's very, very tough to deal with Johnny. You can win against him, but you have to work very, very hard. I'm pretty sure he has 0 unfavorable matchups. He's just extremely busted. His damage output is insane. Even without hype, he doesn't even need the hype, which is unfortunate because hype is the main gimmick of this guy. But his frame data is just so ridiculously unfair, man. The frame data alone just carries this guy very easily. And pair him up with the Kung Lao cameo, and you really just can't play the game. Like, he's always plus on block at all times. And he has the best poke in the game. He has a very good armor with the shadow kick. And he has a frame 1 counter that leads to full combos if you actually get hit by it once. So his counter is basically a better version of Omni Man VX Levitate, pretty much. And a much better version at that. So, I don't know, man. There's not really much you can do against this guy. He's just extremely busted. He's number 1 for sure. I don't even think it's up for the discussion. Next up, we have Kenshi. Probably a top 3 character. Like, I don't know where to put him exactly. The best partner for him is probably Jax. Like, Foxy Grandpa, I'm pretty sure, been making some nice plays with him. And I'm like in a Kenshi player Discord, and just, I've been seeing some crazy tech with Jax and Kenshi. Kenshi is ridiculous. We all know how it works by now. Like, he can struggle outside of center, but the moment he gets center out, actually, you pretty much lose. The biggest strength of the stance is actually just Sento isn't considered anything. Like, Sento is not a physical attack and it's not a projectile. So Omni-Man's dodge doesn't work against Sento. Johnny's counter doesn't work against Sento. Any projectile or physical attack counter won't work against Sento. So to actually deal with Sento, you need to make a bet on an armor. That's the only chance you have. You need to bet that the Kenshi is going to press something, you just need to armor. That's pretty much the only thing you can do. So basically, it's a one-touch character. It's basically a one-touch character. If you got hit once and you got Sento out, you're pretty much dead. There's not much you can do when you get Sento out. So yeah, Sento is beyond busted. The most damaging move in the game. Like, once you have Sento, you're doing pretty much 50% from any hit, which is absolutely crazy. The mix-up is unreactable 50-50s. Is the only character in the game with unreactable 50-50s. So yeah, he's just cracked, man. There's not much else to say. This character is insane. He has some weaknesses, unlike Johnny, and unlike Ashra. So where do I put him? I have to put him above Ashra because in high level this guy is gonna be cooking even more than Ashra. But considering what I've been seeing in tournaments and shit like that, and just online, I do think Kenshi, if you lose a coin flip with Kenshi, you're actually kind of screwed. Like, when you get Sento out, you really need to finish the round. Like, if you lose Sento stance and you're still in the stance, you're in a very bad spot. Everything Kenshi is doing is punishable. He has a lot of gaps. So yeah, he struggles very, very badly when you don't have Sento. So you really need to finish the match. So if your opponent made the read, you're gonna attack and did an armor, and you fucked up, you're kind of screwed. So for that reason alone, I'm gonna put Ashra over him. This is just a personal bias at this point. I really hate dealing with this character, to be honest. Like, her turtle in playstyle is impossible to deal with, really. She can just spam her projectile and Kung Lao hats and you can't get close to this character. She has the most busted hitboxes in the game as well. Like, her standing 2 hits full screen. You can be, like, way above this character, way higher, jumping in the air, high in the air, and it still anti-airs you, sorry. So yeah, she's just insane. For that reason alone, I'm gonna put her above Kenshi. You can interchange them. I do feel like this is the top 3 though. I don't even think it's up for much of discussion, to be honest. Like, these 3 are just insanely busted together, all of them. But Johnny is number 1, that's for sure. 2 and 3 interchange, Johnny is number 1, 100%. I'm gonna try and go faster, like it's 18 minutes already. Sub-Zero is ass. There's not really much to say about him. He's just not good. He's mediocre at everything. He's not good at anything. His frame data is bad, and his combo damage is the worst in the game. So yeah, he's ass. There's not much else to say, but he is better than Scorpion. Scorpion is the worst in the game, in my opinion. Kung Lao, top tier. Kung Lao was crazy. Kung Lao is the only character in this roster that actually never needs to block. Like, anybody needs to block a poke or something, he doesn't. He has a safe, armored move, and if you're using Goro, it's actually plus and leads to full combos on hit. So this guy never blocks. Never. If you face the Kung Lao online, you know how it is. They just spam that shit every time they think you're gonna press something. They don't even wait for you to press something. They YOLO it out. Like, because there's zero risk tied to it. And if you get it, it's a 35% combo for free. On top of that, he has very good mix-ups. He has a low and an overhead starter. His overhead is actually pretty fast too. It's not even that slow. He's decent. He's got decent projectiles as well. He's just very, very well rounded. And the armor is just ridiculous. His armor needs nerfs ASAP. Like, it's the most busted armor in the game by far. And because of how good it is, you never block. You don't need to block with this guy. Melina. Where do I put Melina? Melina's not that good. I'm gonna put her here in decent. Is she above Kitana? Actually, I'm not sure. Medina is not very good, really. She really struggles in neutral. Like, if the game is lagging, you can just throw out ball rolls and maybe the opponent can block, which happens a lot online because many matches are unfortunately laggy. But Melina really struggles to get in. Her frame data isn't that fantastic. She has many gaps. And yeah, you really need to rely on cameos if you actually want to get big damage. Granted, if you use Scorpion, she does insane amounts of damage, but she really needs the help in neutral and she needs the help on block. So yeah, you'd want to use someone like Kung Lao at the very least to get in maybe, but if you want the big damage this character is known for, you need to use Scorpion, which is not actually very ideal. So if you use Kung Lao, she's actually better. The combo damage is still good, but it's nowhere near how it is with Scorpion because she's doing 50% easily with Scorpion, which is just cracked. But this character isn't that good. As much as I hate her, she's not that good. So yeah, I'm gonna put her in decent. You can move her down, move her above Kitana. I don't mind. Like, I'm putting Kitana over just because Kitana actually has neutral. Like, at the very least, she has full screen projectiles. Melina doesn't even have that. So yeah, Raiden is top tier. They nerfed this guy, but it wasn't that substantial. Like, instead of doing 50% for one bar, it's doing 42 in the corner. So boo-hoo. It's not that bad, man. The damage is still there, and this character is still busted in all aspects once he's actually getting going. He has ridiculous frame data. He has one of the best strings in the game with the triple low. He's very good at like spacing stuff. He really has all tools in the game. He has a good projectile. He has a teleport. He has good combo damage. He's got insane chip damage even now with the Kano cameo. You just use the Kano ball to give yourself plus after the electric storm, and just there's really he's still doing like 20% chip for no bar. And yeah, his mix-up is actually pretty decent, still pretty decent because the overhead is very fast, tough to deal with, and the low is also very fast and tough to deal with. So his mix-up game is still good, his damage is still good. He's just a jack of all trades. He really doesn't lack anything. He's very strong. I've seen Sonic Fox put him in like top 3. I can't agree with that. I do feel like these 5 are actually better than him. Let me just put this. I'm pretty sure Giras is worse than Kung Lao. Kung Lao is cracked. But regardless, Raiden is still top tier. Raiden is insane. Rain is insane. Rain is very good. I'm gonna put him. Where do I put him? This is a decent spot. I'm pretty sure. This is a decent spot for him. I'm gonna put him here. Again, he also lost Cyrax, but Kano is actually so good for this guy. It's unbelievable. Kano is amazing for this guy. So, actually, let me put him over Smoke. I do feel like if you're good with Rain, Rain is better than Smoke. I do feel like that. He has very high damage. Like, his damage output is actually fantastic. He's doing so much damage for very little hits. Kinda like Ashra, but just not as extreme. So, yeah, he's doing a lot of damage. He has very good mix-ups. Very good mix-ups. He has an unreactable low starter, a 16 frame low. Very tough to deal with. Like, reacting to it. If you're insanely fast reaction time, if you have insanely fast reaction time, you can do it. But he also has the overhead that can be soft feinted into a grab. So he really is a menace in mix-ups. He has a lot of ways to establish plus frames, like when you use a cameo and just set up a whirlpool and shit like that, and then you're plus. He has very good set play. So Rain is just fantastic. I don't really see much weaknesses with this guy. Weaknesses with him though, he has slow projectiles. The projectiles take a while to activate, so you will struggle against someone, let's say Reiko. Because Reiko, his projectile activates very quickly. So it's really tough to deal with him. But if you need to someone to deal with Reiko, you can just switch to Sarina. Because Sarina's a fast blade throw can actually just punch him out of his projectile, which is great. But yeah, Rain is just very good, man. The damage is there, the mix-ups are there. Neutral, decent, not that crazy. The range is also a pretty big issue of this guy. Like, his range is pretty mediocre, but still, I do feel like he's very good. Very good. A contender for top 10, most likely. Easy, I'm not certain, but he is pretty good. Liu Kang is top tier. Liu Kang is insane. Liu Kang, he has no mix-ups, but he's kind of like a similar case of Omni Man. Omni Man only has a low you need to be careful of. Like, the overhead he has, the 402 is complete dog shit. That's the biggest issue of this guy, maybe, except for like all of his specials being insanely punishable for no reason. But Liu Kang, he just his frame data is great. He's great. He's always safe. He's doing earth-shattering damage. He actually has the highest damage in the game, most likely. Like, excluding Kenshi in Sento stance, I don't think there's a character that does more damage than this guy. The amount of damage he's doing is actually ridiculous. He's basically touching you twice and you're already dead. With the Kung Lao cameo, he's just getting 30% off of grabs, which is the most annoying thing of all time. So grab mashing is a very common thing for Liu Kang's because this is the only mix he has, like a punch grab. The only thing he has is this. So yeah, he's really very, very good. He's a fantastic zoner as well. Very good in spacing. He has decent whiff punishing tools. He's a pretty good footsie character as well. It's very strong all around. I don't feel like there's a big issue with this guy. Yeah, he has zero mix-ups, but unlike Scorpion, he's just very, very good at everything else in the game. And his damage is also very practical. Like from any hit, you're getting 40%. It's not just his launcher. If you get the launcher off, he's doing so much damage, the opponent can just quit. Like he's a one-touch character if you got the launcher. In the corner, he's doing 52% for 1 bar. Like insane amounts of damage. But even if you don't get the launcher, you get like a 4 at 4. You're still getting 40% for 1 bar. So his damage is very, very high. So yeah, Liu Kang is top tier for sure in my opinion. He's probably top 10. I do feel like he's here. If you want to put him like at the top of pretty good, I can accept that. I'm putting him in top tier. He's very good. It's tough to deal with when the Liu Kang is actually a good player. So yeah, this is where I'm putting him. Reptile. I actually struggle a lot against this guy, so for that reason alone, it's gonna go here. He's got pretty good mobility with his dashes. They recover very, very fast. His projectile is actually pretty annoying. Like it's the last projectile in the game you want to trade with. You can't trade with that thing. If you traded it most of the time, you're getting punished for a full combo. He has, in my opinion, maybe the best string in the entire game with his low. Like I'm pretty sure it's back 3. It has such a busted hitbox, it's not even real. Like he's stepping on the ground and you get hit when you're 5 feet away from him. It's actually crazy, the hitbox on that thing. So yeah, Reptile is pretty good. His damage is actually fantastic. Like meterless damage when it comes to meterless damage. Other than Omni Man, this guy is probably the second best character in the entire game with meterless damage. Like the damage he's doing meterlessly is absolutely insane. Like without a cameo, he's doing 34 pretty easily from any starter pretty much. With a cameo, he can do 40. Like if you're using, I don't know, Scorpion, Jax, shit like that, he can very easily do 40 meterless. So yeah, his damage is actually pretty solid. Frame data, not that good. That's the biggest issue of this guy. Frame data is pretty mediocre. But everything else is pretty solid with this guy, so I'm gonna put him in pretty good. I don't feel like he's bad or anything. He's not common to run into, but he's actually a pretty good character. Sindel, definitely top tier. Now this character is a tricky one. She's not that good by herself, but the problem is the set plays She has, sorry. She basically has infinite combos still, and they haven't patched it. Like in the recent patch, she has just with Jax. Like you get one hit, any hit whatsoever, you re-stem them with the scream, you go into the levitate, you set up a ground pound, do a 4 at 4, and they're still in hit stun, and the ground pound will launch them for a full combo. Basically an infinite combo pretty much. There's basically no way to deal with this. Like granted, I'm pretty sure it's a frame perfect link, but it's not even that hard to set up. Like I'm pretty sure the way to time this thing correctly is just summon Jax as soon as you do an aerial bottom. Like as soon as you do the air one, the air square, as soon as you do that, you just press the ground pound summon at the same exact time. And that's basically the timing. So it's pretty easy to do. There's zero counterplay to it, and she's just doing 90% from a hit if you actually get them. Or she's just TODing you straight up if she has the bar. So yeah, her set play is cracked. She's a pretty good zoner as well. She has zero mix-ups, but she can just rely on whiff punishes and footsies to just get a punish in and then infinite combos and you die. So yeah, it's pretty gimmicky. Like it's not like she's that good by herself. It's just pretty much, I'm pretty sure unintentional infinites because of Jax just being Jax and having ridiculously busted setups with the ground pound. But regardless, just yeah, I mean, Sindel is that simple. Like she gets one hit and you're dead, pretty much. She had the infinite with Sub-Zero, now she has one with Jax, basically. She needs one hit, really. I don't know where to rank her because of just this being very gimmicky, but just the existence of that just puts her like here. Honestly, man, you can even put her here, just because this bullshit is so annoying. But I'm gonna put her here. Actually, here. I don't feel like that's just such a powerful thing to have. The set play she has with Jax is just busted as fuck. So yeah, for that reason, she's here. Reiko is shit. Reiko is not good. He is a very annoying and good zoner, so I'm just gonna put him here, but other than that, he's pretty trash in everything. The command grab combos he had were actually nerfed, and they didn't buff anything else, so now he's doing like 32%. for a full cameo gauge with Darius. So best bet you've got is really just use whatever ambush cameo you like, or just use Kung Lao like with every character in the roster, and just throw shurikens until your opponent is dead. That's pretty much what the character is doing. Next up, Havoc. He is decent. He lost a lot of value because of Cyrax getting nerfed. I don't feel like he's better than these two though. I feel like he is. Honestly, I'm gonna put him over Shang as well. He's pretty decent. He's not nothing special. He really is not. He's nothing special. He's a decent character. His damage output is not bad. It's pretty mediocre, but it's not bad. With a cameo, we can actually get much more thanks to the hand. The unblockable can be very useful in certain scenarios, but he really was relying on Cyrax, and because they just nerfed Cyrax and didn't buff anyone else, this guy took a big hit. So, yeah, as to where you put him, I'm putting him here. You can just put him here, maybe even here if you want to. I don't really know where to put him, but this is like 30 minutes long already, so just let me wrap this up. General Shao, pretty solid character. I'm gonna put him over Havoc. When used with Kung Lao, this guy is actually very annoying to deal with. Without the axe, is actually like here, without the axe. Without the axe is so good, but the problem is you're only without the axe for 5 seconds, which is extremely annoying. If this guy could just choose to stay without the axe for the entire match if you wanted to, it would be so much better. Like, you get a combo started with the axe, you switch to the no axe, you get a hit in without the axe, you resummon the axe like without an animation, it just comes back to your hand with no animation, you extend the combo using the power slam, and then you go back to being without the axe. If we could do that, this guy would be here. Very easily, he would be top tier somewhere here. Problem with this guy is just, with the axe, his frame data is not very good, and his mix-ups aren't there too. Like, he has a lower and over, but both are reactable, and you really want to use Kung Lao, and if you use Kung Lao, actually no, the teleport stuff works with Kung Lao as well, so yeah, he's actually pretty good, man. He is pretty good. I'm gonna put him here, man. He's a solid character. He really is. You can even put him above them. Like, I would like to see some buffs for this guy. I really will, but he's not terrible. I used to think he was very bad, but I think actually he's a very solid character. Actually, let me just remove him here, though. I don't feel like he's on the level of this character. I do feel like Reptile is a better character than him. I really do. But Reptile can also go into decent, to be honest. Reptile can also go into decent. So yeah, that's it for Shao, and finally Nitara, she's not that good. I'm gonna put her here. If you're extremely good with the character, you can make her work. She has insane mobility, and can set up some insane shit with the Kung Lao cameo, but biggest problem with her is just she's very meter heavy, extremely meter heavy. She has the worst normals in the entire game. Everything she has is punishable. It's either punishable, has gaps, or just complete trash. So yeah, this really lowers her value. Like, she's very meter heavy, and she's just she has terrible frame data and terrible normals in general. So she's really just relying on her insane mobility to carry her. But yeah, guys, that's basically it for the tier list. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think can be changed. I'm feeling pretty content with this, honestly. Like, I do feel like this is a fairly accurate assessment, but yeah, I can understand if some of you might disagree with me with her being here. Maybe you could put her here if you want to, but I just hate this bitch. So she's going into number 2 for me. I really despise her. I love to hear any other takes you have in the comment section. Let me know, like, who's the best character in the game in your opinion, even though it's fucking obvious it's Johnny. Who's the worst in the game if you disagree with Scorpion or anything of the sort. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.